What other parts of the profile though should we be working on and would be helpful to us?
I think one that's highly underrated is your summary. That one I think has a lot of room for creativity, and I'm not saying mine's the best. I just do whatever on mine the way that I would personally not care if someone reached out to me, right? Like I'm my own person, so by any means I'm not saying do what I do on mine if you go look at this, but in general, how we started this conversation, what I see a lot is that people put in this very cookie cutter, go to Google and what should I put in my LinkedIn summary, and it's something like results-oriented, driven ninja guru in Salesforce. And you're like, yeah. And you're like, what does that even mean? One, yeah, you're like, what does that even mean? One, and two, that space is uncapped, I think, with how much you can put in there. Or at least on mine, I have quite a bit of like characters. So I think for me, when I first started looking around and I was like realizing that, I looked at a few different ones and then I was like, man, yeah, there's some cool stuff out there you can really put in here. And you kind of can treat it like a LinkedIn post. Like the way that I format my posts is like, okay, obviously what's the hook? Like how are they going to want to read this? And then there's always that see more button. So you have 4 lines to basically hook them and then they're going to read the rest of your post. Same idea with the summary. You have around that same space. It's 3 or 4 lines. So 3 or 4 lines, like what can I quickly know about this person that would be like weird or like interesting or like how does this set them apart? So in my personal one, I just went totally the other way. So I told you a little bit about what I do, but it talks about how I used to wrap cars and how I used to in high school like sell cell phone accessories, and I like to travel a lot. So I've been to the Great Wall of China. So it talks about random stuff like that. And the goal behind that is not to be like boastful. It's literally about, hey, if you were to reach out to me as a random person or a recruiter, this is stuff that I personally like to do that I've done and I would like to talk about, like an icebreaker you could use. It also, I think, makes me stand out in the sense of, oh yeah, we're looking at this candidate and yeah, he like had this thing there, he went to the Great Wall of China or whatever I put in there. So I think you have a lot of creativity there to show your personality. And I don't think a lot of people do that. And I think that's like the number one way. Once they get to your profile, the idea behind it for me is they're on your profile now. How do I keep their attention to stay here? Because what makes me want to leave right away is when I click on a profile that I saw an interesting post on, and then I see something like that. And then I'm like, okay, like not really interested in interacting with this person. They seem cookie cutter. They're not really telling me a lot about who they are.
Yeah, man, I totally agree. I think the way I like to look at LinkedIn is I come from a digital marketing background. So like I like to look at it like search engine optimization.
Yeah, that too.
So when as a recruiter, right, correct me if I'm wrong, but as the recruiter in the recruiter tool, they're going to type in keywords.
Yep.
And then if your about section talks about all the technologies that you play with or all the, like if you're in the Salesforce world, if you're talking about workflows and you're talking about community cloud and marketing cloud, and these are on your profiles a lot, then when a recruiter is looking for a marketing cloud admin, they're going to type in marketing cloud and they're going to hit search, and then they're going to find, it goes all throughout LinkedIn and it finds the people who have the most keywords on their profile.
Yeah, that's a good point. I forgot to mention that because I think that's actually what my first attempt at it was before I got to like probably where I'm at now with my summary. My first attempt was more that. It was like, oh, there's all this keyword stuff and SEO that I should worry about. So I should probably put in stuff about Salesforce and like what you said, business application tools I use and other things like that. So that is a good point. And anybody, regardless of your profile on LinkedIn, even if you're free like me, I have a free account still, but you can tell every week like whether or not those searches are going up or down, and you can click into that and you can see what was I found for. So I like in the initial stages, I was getting found for like executive assistant and stuff I didn't even do, and I was like, okay, I gotta change this up because like I'm being searched and populating for searches that are stuff. Or for jobs that I don't do at all. So that kind of gives you a rule of thumb as well to say, hey, is this working or not?
Yeah. So you gave us a really cool tip about like how to do this post, but like you just touched on it. Can you go a little bit in deeper in that? If I want to be a contributor, okay, so we've convinced someone they want to contribute, like what the heck should their posts look like?